How much money can an unemployed person actually get from the Chinese government? I'm about to find out. Today, I woke up before 7, took 2 buses, and went back to try again. The first time, I went to the wrong place. So this time, I had to walk another 30 minutes alone, through empty streets and massive skyscrapers, just to find the right building. But when I finally got there, I found out something I didn't expect. So how much can I actually get? And how many months can I receive unemployment benefits in China? I'm Sean. I'm 32, unemployed, no kids, no friends. And this time, I'm determined to get my unemployment benefits. I checked the route to the new district Social Security Bureau on my phone. The trip would take about an hour and a half. Walking to the bus stop, I noticed many ground floor shops in the residential area are completely empty. Not a single store was open. You can really feel that the physical retail economy is struggling right now. I crossed the street to an energy station. It's a massive heating facility for the surrounding neighborhoods. Right next to it is a school. Continuing forward, I finally reached the bus terminal. I was super lucky to catch the very first bus of the day. I got on the bus. It was completely empty. Feeling a bit tired, I planned to just rest for a while. But then, I noticed a very heartwarming moment. A grandfather and his grandson are playing together. They are chatting and laughing so happily. Seeing their joyful interaction instantly lifted my mood. Along the way, I passed many bus stops. Some are large with seats for resting, while others are just small signs. But they are very close, usually every 400 to 500 meters. It makes public transit super convenient. I also noticed many cars parked illegally on the street. They took up a whole lane and even blocked the sidewalks. These are illegal parking spots. Smart cameras and traffic police can easily spot them. If you get caught, the system uses your license plate to find your info. It will automatically deduct money and points from your account. You don't even need to visit the traffic office in person to pay the fine. As I kept going, more shops started to appear. I am entering a long existing commercial area. China's real estate has developed so fast. You can see old and new buildings standing side by side here. Most of these modern buildings are built right on the sites of the old ones. Soon, many elderly people got on. In China, anyone over 65 rides the bus for free. They just need a senior card to swipe and go. Next, I entered a very old residential area, built around the year 2000. Behind these buildings is a compound for the Space Administration Bureau. But the street-facing houses are special. These are private properties. The owners rent out the ground floor as shops and lease the upstairs apartments. The locals here are incredibly wealthy. They don't even need to work. Just collecting rent supports their whole family comfortably. And they can pass this aisle down to the next generation. If the government wants to build new buildings and buy their land, they can get a huge sum of money and receive new apartments, and everyone gets one.
起步，请各位乘客坐好扶稳，不要在车厢里随。
I arrived at the Social Security Bureau in the new district. Everything around here is brand new. The buildings are modern and tall, but the streets feel very empty and quiet. It is completely different from the old district bureau, which was always crowded and busy. Here, it feels almost too quiet. I walked inside. The security control here is much stricter. I had to go through a full security check before entering. I looked around the lobby. It was huge and spotless. I used the self-service machine to take a numbered ticket, then started looking for the right area to handle my case. I went into the service area to find my window. But after asking a staff member, I got some terrible news. Can you guess what? I went to the wrong place again. This is the headquarters. I need to go to the branch office. So I walked out of the building. Standing on the street, I felt incredibly frustrated. I had no idea that there was a difference between the headquarters and the branch office. And I had absolutely no clue where this branch office was. I looked around at the unfamiliar streets, feeling very sad and lost. I started wondering if I could still get my unemployment benefits processed today. It felt like an impossible task. But I had no choice. I had to keep going. I couldn't just give up. So I started walking along this long road. As I walked, I realized this headquarters covers a massive area. It is enormous. Basically, almost all the government service agencies for the entire city are located in this area. It is like a government service center for the whole city. Nearby, there is an intercity railway station. This is a really impressive system. It connects several cities together, just like a subway line. People from other cities can come here to work very easily. The trip takes less than half an hour. And the best part is, it costs less than $1. It is much faster and more convenient than taking a regular train or high-speed rail. It feels just like riding the metro to the next stop. I kept walking forward along the road. I passed many skyscrapers that are still under construction. I looked around, and I could barely see any pedestrians on the street. It was just me and these massive buildings. It felt a bit lonely, but also impressive at the same time. After walking for what felt like forever, I finally saw a familiar sign. I realized I might have reached my destination. I checked the address again. Yes, this is it. I finally found it. I walked for a full 30 minutes to get here from the headquarters. It was a long walk, but I made it. I walked into this branch office. You could tell right away that this place was even smaller with fewer staff and visitors. I followed the same process and took a number, then waited for my turn. There was a lady ahead of me, also here to ask about unemployment insurance. It really shows how common unemployment is these days. A few minutes later, I was directed to a new window. Finally, I could start processing my case. I opened a guide for unemployment benefits. It listed the process, requirements, and other important notes in detail. The monthly payment is $293. Since I had already received benefits for a year before, I could only get 3 months this time. But I was still very happy. This would help me get through the slow season of job hunting. The ride home takes 2 hours, bus and subway. Sitting by the window, watching the city pass by, I felt a quiet sense of relief. The unemployment benefits are finally sorted out. For the first time in days, I didn't have to rush anywhere or worry about paperwork. I noticed some smart signs on the bus. You can scan them for free Wi-Fi and real-time route planning. Outside the window, there was a strong sense of everyday life, which brought me a lot of comfort. The bus was still empty. A thick safety shield separated me from the driver. Before 2017, buses didn't have these. But after a tragic accident where a passenger grabbed the steering wheel, causing the bus to crash into a river and killing 20 people, every bus was required to have an independent cabin. Getting ready for the subway, I saw electric scooters everywhere. They are so common in China. Almost everyone has one. Inside the subway station, I found a self-service library. You can borrow and return books right here. I used my phone to pay for the ride. The train was packed. I was so tired from the whole morning that I just wanted to close my eyes. Since my stop was the last one, I felt safe enough to fall asleep. And I did. I slept through the entire ride. I got off and had to walk 18 minutes to get home. The area was still under development. Key residential buildings here are incredibly tall, many over 100 meters, packed tightly together. Walking through these towering buildings alone, I felt belittled. But at the same time, I told myself, one step at a time. I just need to keep going. Back home, I decided to cook something for myself. Honestly, food has this way of healing you. While I was cooking, I could briefly forget about all the worries. The ingredients are simple and clean. This was not fancy cuisine, just a humble little steamed bun. But looking at that bright golden color, watching the steam rise from the pot, the thoughts came rushing back. The benefits only last 3 months. After that, I still need to find a job. I still don't know what comes next. Standing here in my own kitchen, making a meal with my own hands, I realized something. Life doesn't stop just because you lose a job. New problems will come, but you do your best to deal with them. That's all you can do. For dinner, I steamed some beef rolls and crispy tofu rolls, stir-fried some greens, and boiled 2 essayed dumplings. Sitting here, eating a warm meal I made with my own hands, something shifted. The anxiety didn't disappear, but it felt lighter somehow. Maybe I don't need to have everything figured out right now. Maybe this pause is not the end of something, but the beginning of something new. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe to stay in the loop. I'll see you in the next one.